Hi guys, I'm gonna do a little bit different. So I'm gonna show you where I'm reading. And so the title of this is African Patriarchs Display Conquered Matriarchs in Sacred Stew. Okay, and these are the conquered matriarchs, right? And you see where it says African Patriarchs Display Conquered Matriarchs in Sacred Stew. So that's why I talk about these things so some people can stop thinking that patriarchy just started with the white man. It did not start with the white man. The white men learned from these African patriarchs, which they weren't called African at the time, but that's just the word used for today. Um, and they just took it and ran with it, and they did a better job at patriarchy. That's just what it is. And now people want to get mad at the winners, at the people who are better at this paradigm. Okay. So I'm going to read under here. Okay. So we see the serpent's head being bitten. Okay. And I'm going to read this because people, you see how religion demonized the serpent. What they really is demonizing a lot of these these African matriarchs. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to read this right here. So you guys are going to read with me. Royal Mami Wata, stool of Fenty Chief in Ghana, the eagle, the ancient totemic symbol of Horus forming the base, is seen here biting the head of the ancestral Mami serpent. You see? Let's go back. The eagle, now you know the eagle is that the United States symbol too. You see how a lot of the other patriarchs who were a lot stronger took a lot of the symbols from these ancients. Okay, the eagle, the ancient totemic symbol of Horus, forming the base, is seen here biting the head of ancestral Mami certain. These were African patriarchs. These weren't white people. Okay, not to let anybody else off the hook, not to let white people off the hook, but it just seems to be this narrative that the white man was the first patriarch, and that's not the truth. And black people keep this narrative so they can escape for their role in where they are today. Okay, this charged symbol can be viewed as reflecting the historical usurpation of the sacerdotal power and functions of the matriarchs during the establishment of patriarchy, whose beginnings can be traced back to ancient Kemet, Egypt, patriarchy as it is known today. Okay, did not start with the white man. Patriarchy did not start with the white man, so don't let anybody tell you different. The white man just ran this patriarchy better, but it did not start with the white man. And a lot of these Caucasians, these Aryans, learned from these from Kemet. Okay, and they did it better. That's it. Okay. So let's go back. This charged symbol can be viewed as reflecting the historical usurpation of the sacerdotal power and functions of the matriarchs during the establishment of patriarchy, whose beginnings can be traced back to ancient Kemet, Egypt. Patriarchy, as it is known today, was not originally indigenous to most, if not all, of Africa. I'm just showing you guys this. And the priest of Ammon, who were the people who usurped a lot of the matriarchs, were black people. Now I'm going to read this. The Iranian tribes of the north, historic enemies of Ammon, also wanted a share in the matriarchal temples. Okay, Now here they go. This is where they want to get on the white man. The Aryan, Iranian tribes of the north, historic enemies of Ammon, also wanted a share in the matriarchal temples under whose authority the lucrative trade routes had long ago been established. Shortly following Ammon's invasions came the Assyrians and then the Greeks, later the Persians, Phoenicians, Turks, and Romans, a host of other miscellaneous pirates. Okay, and finally the Roman Christians. Okay, so all these people came afterwards. It did start with the black man, but then before the black men, it started with black women turning on each other. But I want to get to where it talks about black women turning on each other. I really want to get to that because I know that's what happened. Okay, each wave of invaders took turns ravishing, raping, pillaging, and destroying the sacred mummy of the black matriarchs and replacing them with their own gods. They copied and plagiarized their liturgies, festive days, sacred rites, and means of governing, and attributed them either to themselves or to their own male gods. They defaced her statues and erected smaller images of her in an inferior position to themselves or to their own minor gods, and most even eliminated her image altogether. The priests who broke away from the patriarchal orders of Egypt and fled to Europe were later called the Levitical Jews, Ephraim, Levitical Jews, okay? The priests who broke away from the patriarchal orders of Egypt and fled to Europe were later called the Levitical Jews. Hated mommy, let me look at, yeah, hated mommy the most. They hated mommy the most and made certain to seal her and the fate of her, what's that, votaries? She, her, and votaries were ridiculed and degraded all throughout the Bible as the Jezebels. She, her, she, her, and votaries were ridiculed and degraded all throughout the Bible as Jezebels. Whores, harlots, adulterers, idolaters, and witches. They changed the wording of the Old Testament, replacing the words Amphe. You see these I-E, I-A-O, and other feminine references to mommy with the masculine Lord and God, etc. Okay, and I'm going to stop there. Okay, I'll come back with some more and I'll talk to you soon.